Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Fernando and Freddie Show. We are live here with you on YouTube.
For another Reddit on Reddit.
Oh, we're doing a Reddit on Reddit today, huh?
Well, yeah, because it's conspiracy theories today. Well, so it is the Fernando and Freddie show, but with our main segment, Reddit on Reddit.
All right. Hang on one second here. Let's get everything going. All right, Freddie. So what do you have for us today?
Well, it's just interesting watching people burning down cell towers, thinking that 5G is now the cause of coronavirus.
Wait, is that a thing? People are thinking that?
Like legitimately, I keep seeing it all over the place. Like, if you ever read, do you read the comments on things like on any type of Reddit post or even on any social media? There's always someone talking about how it's well, first the latest one is because they're doing the whole investigation. It's that article I sent you earlier today about how they believe that the coronavirus was started in Wuhan, China,
In the lab.
Yeah, in the lab, and it escaped from the lab, and then because of that, that's why the virus spread from there. That it was a weekly. Why is my mind going blank? So basically the virus escaped from there. It was manufactured, but then I read this like I want to say like 2-3 weeks ago that they already. The sad thing is they actually did check to see if the virus was man-made, but they said that the structures of the virus were not capable of being. We don't have the technology to do it. So unless someone has some secret technology that no one knows about, it wouldn't be possible to have that virus be man-made. And then but that's still going around there. I mean, literally that was in the paper today, is that the Chinese were going back and saying that, how can the Americans say that it was made in a lab here? And then it's kind of funny, but the Americans, I know I say it like the Americans, like I'm not one, but I'm just going off the article, but the Chinese government was saying that it was the US Army who spread it at first. So they're like, but you guys said the same thing. You guys blamed it on us. And then Russia was also saying it was the US. So it's a bit interesting when you pick apart all these articles of everyone who's pointing the finger at one another, saying that they started it, and the other ones are saying no, that this one did.
Interesting. I did read that article that you had sent me about the the thing being made in a lab. And I did also see some of the stuff that was originally like published over a month ago. They were talking about how they'd done a research study and they determined that the virus wasn't man-made, it wasn't made in a lab, and it looked more virusy. Whereas if it was made in a lab, they said like the corners would have been like more, for example, like more rounded, and it just looked like it could have been man-made. But at the same time, I thought that
didn't you like when they do things like that, doesn't it make you kind of think, but wait a minute, how do you know that unless you guys have already tried to make viruses in a lab? You know what I mean? Like it kind of makes
I'm sure they have. I'm sure that they have, because a lot of the stuff that they do to counter a virus, they have to make it, don't they?
Actually, I don't know. That's a really good question, because don't they usually use like dead virus when they do make vaccines and things like that? They use a carrier of some sort that can't spread a disease. But I mean, I don't know. It's fascinating when you think of things like that, like CRISPR and like gene editing and all the fun things that they can do with that stuff.
Gene editing.
Yeah, no, they literally can. Haven't you seen that? There was a whole video on YouTube that I watched about like these people apparently are doing it at home, and like it scares scientists because they're like, well, what if something goes horribly wrong?
Freddie, you're cutting out really bad. It's really hard to understand you. Can you hear me okay over there?
Yeah, really clear.
Okay, perfect. So how are people doing gene editing at home? Come again?
CRISPR.
Wait, say it again.
CRISPR.
CRISPR?
Hold on. I think we're cutting out
CRISPR or
so bad.
CRISPR?
Hold on. Let me see. It is cutting out a lot. Hold on. Let me see if I can close this down. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, so it's better then.
You're just a little blurry, but I
Well,
can
but my
hear you okay.
camera's always blurry. When has my camera ever not been blurry? I have the worst internet connection here.
So what is this you were saying about 5G causing coronavirus?
Well, I wasn't saying don't say that like that. People are going to think that I'm saying they're 5G. I'm going to be that person who's going like, it's 5G that's spreading the coronavirus. No, I've been reading on the internet because I went into Reddit, and for some reason it was one of the top threads that was there at that time. And it was just saying that people are blaming 5G as the cause of the coronavirus. So people are burning down the towers and mistakenly burning down 4G towers instead. So basically they're sending us all back to, what is that? They're sending us all back to 3G. That's probably
so how many towers
why my connection is so bad.
How many towers have been burnt?
I don't know. It doesn't say that. Let's see. Let me Google it now. Well, how many towers? How many? Should I check in the LA area?
Sure.
Let me tell you, it's so funny.
What?
I'm clicking on this right now. It's just literally the description of the thing said, "Please be advised that 5G towers have." Don't dismiss these warnings about 5G. They have nothing to do with the coronavirus. Let's see.
Ooh, on a side note, Freddie.
Yeah.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Do you like my new straw?
But I can't see you because. Oh, you're using your metal straw. What are you drinking? Are you drinking that coffee frappuccino thing people are making?
No, it's iced coffee. It's just some like Craig K-cup with just some like caramel creamer and ice.
Okay, let's see. So there are a total of 3,000 5G towers in the LA area.
Okay, and
that's an estimate.
How many?
I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't know if they're burning them in LA, but I know in other countries they are burning them down.
Oh, okay. Because they are thinking that this is the reason.
Yeah, this is the cause, but they're not really. They're not showing where there actually are the towers, because obviously, if people are burning them down, I can imagine they probably cost a whole lot of money.
Burn all those down.
Yeah.
Okay. And as we're just like talking about all this, I'm just kind of looking at these numbers. So talking like mainly like about like the whole like coronavirus thing and everything. I used to keep pretty good track daily. I was like looking at the numbers. I'm like, okay, this, that, like so many people have died. So many people got infected. So as of yesterday, the 16th, and I hadn't looked at these numbers in actually since the 2nd. So wow, 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. We are up to 632,548 cases and 31,000 deaths. 2 weeks ago, we were at 239,000 cases. So we're about 400,000 cases higher in 2 weeks and about 24,800 deaths. It's a lot. Anyway,
yeah,
there's a little rant. as you were looking at these 3G towers or 5G towers, I was looking at coronavirus statistics that I hadn't pulled up in a while. But yeah, that's crazy. So on a quick side, in front of my apartment building, they are going to install a small 5G like tower on top of a light pole, and we have this like text thread with my apartment neighbor. So there's like 22 of us in there, and they have just been going off about, hey, if you didn't know, they're going to be building this 5G tower, blah, 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 blah. And then people are, oh, 5G is so bad, this and that. And then like they were sending pictures of plants and talking about how the 5G is going to be killing the plants and it's going to give you cancer. And these plants, and they were sending you like a description of different plants. And like it was a little chart, I think, that they found online talking about how these plants are the ones that are going to hold cancer and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know. I should have done my research on it and actually find out, and I didn't. But I just can't help but wonder if, you know, they really are that bad. But it's not going to cause the corona. And even what's that source that you just read that on that said that 5G is not the cause of corona?
That was just a random article that what was it called? It was called "What is?" No, that wasn't it. That wasn't the first one. The first one I looked at was cellularreception.com.
Interesting.
So apparently you can lease the towers. I don't know why you would.
Oh,
lease
I can get
them.
my own.
I guess if you own them, well, I guess maybe if you lived in a rural area, you could get one.
Does it say how much?
But like literally, hold on, let's see. Cell site lease rates for AT&T is $1,000 a month.
Okay, that's not that bad
Oh,
actually.
wait.
And then
Wait, hold on. This person says, hold on, let me read you this comment. I'm all against the 5G. Please stop building 5G towers. If we all stop using these dangerous smartphones and going back to landlines, they won't be able to threaten us with all this nonsense. People, why do we have to choose so-called advanced technologies over our children and grandchildren, communities, and altogether the planet's lives? At the end, hold on, I have to keep that same voice. At the end of the day, we can't blame these money-hungry, bloodthirsty, power and controlling manipulator thugs due to our own ignorance. We say no to the 5G bull S. I don't get it. Why are these people putting an amount next to the tower?
a mountain.
No amount. Like this one says T-Mobile, $20,000 a month, Chicago, Illinois. 5G is the best. No health concerns for anyone in our range. Have them monitor each month since installing. All the naysayers are simply following a pipe dream of fraud, looking for any reason for their poor and deteriorating health.
Interesting.
Okay, so I don't know if yeah. Well, apparently this article tells you, or this article, but this site tells you how to lease a tower. So you literally
like
type in the
5G
city.
tower?
Yeah. So you can literally type in your cities. Okay, look, here's Long Beach. This kind of gets off the well, I guess it's still the conspiracy theory, but it is I don't know where these things come from. Like, how did someone decide that? Because they had these towers since 2017.
5G towers?
A lot. Hold on,
I'm wondering if maybe people didn't realize they were 5G or didn't realize what it was, and then now people are coming up being like, "Oh my gosh, 5G."
I'm not sure, but there's a whole lot of towers in Long Beach, actually. It's quite interesting.
Now, I don't even have 5G though, or do I? I would know if I had it, right? It would say 5G on my screen.
No, well, I guess I don't know. You'd have to have a newer phone to get it to say 5G. Because I know like you can get LTE, but I don't think LTE is considered 5G. I think 5G you literally had to have the new phones, but they weren't really they weren't letting people use them.
No, because 5G would say 5G on the top.
Oh, does it? I don't know. I thought they weren't
Yeah.
allowing them in the U.S.
What, 5G?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just been seeing a lot of advertisements for it all over the place, but I mean, I don't even know if I've had it, if I've used it or what. I just feel like I always have pretty slow internet.
Well, at least your internet's not as bad as it is here. My internet is horrible. That's why everyone's always like, "Why are you so pixelated?" I'm like, "Sorry for my Android."
Yeah.
my, my Sims. It's the Fernando and his Sim character show.
Right. What happened?
You
Hang on. All
programmed
right.
me. Hello. Yeah, but no. But I mean, some of these other ones were kind of interesting. Like there was one that said Jeffrey Epstein didn't die of suicide. He died not. He died from the coronavirus.
Complications due to the coronavirus.
Oh yeah, sorry. Complications due to the coronavirus. Um, but it's amazing because these people are literally like people are complaining that the coronavirus coronavirus conspiracy theories are flooding Facebook and Twitter despite promises of a crackdown.
What was the
They're
one that
blaming
you
the
had
Russians
sent me
for it.
yesterday? Russians. What was the one that you sent me yesterday about Facebook sending those notifications?
Oh, so because apparently, if you like any of these type of posts, Facebook now will send you a notification telling you that basically you're following a fake news, fake website that's spreading propaganda or false information, and they just want to make people aware of it. But they're saying that they're not sure that it actually will work because most of the time, I mean, I sent you. I think I sent you that earlier today, where the guy said. Basically, a lot of people want you to prove a conspiracy theory because usually conspiracy theories are like fringe media. So they're saying, how can I prove something as being fact without using mainstream media? So it's like impossible.
Yeah.
So that's basically what they were saying. And so how can you prove a conspiracy theory being fake when in the past most of the conspiracy theories that were declared fake were actually real? So it just goes back and forth from there.
I see. But I did think that was actually pretty cool, though, that, once they do deem it to be fake, that, they were going to be notifying people saying that, hey, you liked or shared or, had commented on a post that, was, deemed to be conspiracy theory or inaccurate information. I don't think that it necessarily said conspiracy theory. I think that the link actually said misinformation.
I don't remember, to be honest, but I think it's just another word for conspiracy theory. Misinformation. I mean, like think about it. Every time it's usually it is a conspiracy theory. It's like besides well, they still don't even know if it was because that was part of the conspiracy theory, saying someone was eating a bat or someone was eating a snake or someone was eating a pangolin or because it's not proven yet. So they were saying that in fact that could be considered a conspiracy theory because there are a lot of people who they said that legitimately were believing that it was made in a lab. I mean, you were telling me that yesterday that someone you knew had read an article and it had mentioned that there was an exposure in a lab somewhere in China.
I think that might have been the same article that you sent me yesterday or this morning. I don't know. I don't know if it was the same one or not. But I mean, yeah, we'll probably know, in the next couple of months. But what other conspiracy theories were you reading about?
Well, a lot were on that one, and a lot of people they don't believe. Like a lot of people are saying, like it's just been going on too long. I've read one on Twitter that said about France. That said 75% of French people think that the government was lying about the virus. And that's not even just like conspiracy theory. That was legitimate. 75% of the people polled in that poll were thinking that
so they thought the government was lying about the virus, that it didn't exist, and they wanted to just keep everybody home.
well, there was various ones. Like there was one that I was watching earlier, and it had some guy like walking around supposedly an empty hospital, and so you don't know, like the guy was. It looked like a hospital, and he's like, why are all these people talking about all these people being stuck in hospitals here? And yet he was walking around filming everything. But I mean, of course, the video took it down, so I can't show it. But there was one like that. There was another. There's a lot of videos of like doctors talking about, but we don't know if they're really doctors or not. I mean, they're just people that look like they have the medical garbs on, and then they were just saying like, oh, that this was. Oh, I wish I could find that one with the lady. She said she was a nurse, but it was deemed to be fake later on. So she said she was a nurse, and she was saying that this was not a virus. This was caused from 5G. That everyone in the ER room knew that it was caused by this. I mean, she literally had like the little what's that called? The hairnet, the blue hairnet, the face mask. She had the blue clothes on, and she's taking them off as she's talking. But then there's some other ones that, like you have some doctors who are coming home saying they were overwhelmed and about how this wasn't how anything that they thought it was. I mean, it just, there was so much on the different forums, the different social medias, like going through it, that like you could spend hours like going. Well, I did. I spent hours going through it and just watching all the different ideas that people had, or people claiming that this was really happening. Like right now here, like just literally just from 2 months ago, some of the death toll in China was actually close to 1 million, and that 70 million were quarantined. But then I just saw in that article today that I sent you that it was saying that China officially corrected their numbers. They had about 1,500 more deaths, but that some people were saying that they weren't sharing enough information about the rest of the provinces. That was just Wuhan alone. So I mean,
wow.
so that. Yeah, so I mean they went up, but I don't know if that's reflected in that I don't know what site. Look at on the site that you look at on what number China has currently for deaths and infected.
The site that I was looking at was on the CDC website, so I don't even know if they have the Chinese numbers listed on there or not. But I guess we can pull it up and see.
Oh no, I think my computer's gonna crash.
Why?
Because it said it.
It said what?
Well, so I get that error sometimes where it says the browser quit for an unknown reason. So I clicked OK, but it's still running. But I don't know if it's going to shut off. You know when it does that sometimes? Like it says like the browser crashed, yeah. It's going to need a reboot, but it doesn't do anything.
No. Let's see. So China, according to Google, I don't even. Oh, these are all their different provinces.
Of where?
But I don't even see Wuhan listed on here, so I don't know. Maybe confirmed. So according to Google, confirmed cases in China was 82.6 thousand, with 4,632 deaths. But that seems extremely low.
It still is very low, but I think that, well, they were saying as a justification for their numbers being different, it was saying that they were so overwhelmed that they weren't able to actually process all the information. And they said that the same was going to be true for the US, because like with the same problem of not being able to test people for not having enough tests. So in theory, yeah, I mean, it's not really a conspiracy theory in that fact that, yeah, maybe they can't. I mean, they can't process all the information, so the numbers are going to be off.
Well, I mean, if China was supposed to be hit so hard, they only have 4.6. I mean, I'm not going to say only, but I mean, they had 4.6 thousand. We're at 31,000 deaths. So, I mean, we're, close to 30,000 deaths 31, higher 000? Than them. Mm-hmm.
That's hectic. Yeah. But they did that. They did a total lockdown, and we didn't do a total lockdown, though.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. I mean, they literally, because I told you, my friend who lived there said, like, they put tape on your door, and if you cross that tape, you're going to disappear. Like, he's like, you don't even joke around. Like, you really don't do that. Like, if they told you to quarantine for 2 weeks, you're quarantined. No, I can't speak right now. You're going to be quarantined for the 2 weeks.
Hey, have you seen that meme? It was like, you see people who put lockdown. It's like they only use lockdown because they don't know how to spell quarantine. It was such a delayed laugh right there. Oh my gosh. 5 minutes later, how you go?
Sorry, it's my slow connection. It's my Android connection.
Android. But hey, so I was watching the news yesterday, and in New York, they were talking about how their numbers were a little different, and they weren't fully able to. I guess some of the numbers were off, and the reportings were a little bit off, and Trump was accusing them of falsifying their numbers. But in New York, they were saying that it is difficult because they have these people who are coming in with these particular symptoms and people who are dying from these particular symptoms, but not everybody was tested for it. And then also in their deaths, there had people who were dying from these particular symptoms, or people who were dying at home, or not coming into the hospital. And they weren't fully able to say, well, this person died of coronavirus because they didn't know how they died, or people in their autopsies they're on were coming in and they were saying, okay, well, these were symptoms consistent with the coronavirus. And in the autopsy, they were able to confirm that, I guess that's how they had, died, was from coronavirus. But I think that is also contributing to these numbers too, because, somebody who, they just died at home, like maybe they didn't talk to anybody or somebody didn't know about their symptoms. Well, how do you say that, yeah, they died from coronavirus or they just died, So I think it'd be really interesting to look at trends to maybe find out how many deaths there typically are in a matter of, February to March in, throughout the years, just to kind of look and see what numbers there are. I mean, I'm sure it changes year to year, but I can't, see it being like a super big change and then look at, this year's numbers and just kind of see how those have changed.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're not moving. That's why I kind of was stumbling there because I couldn't tell if you were just
the mannequin challenge. It looks like my camera has frozen. I'm going to
start your browser.
Yeah, I think I have.
Okay, you go ahead and do that, and I will stay here with our people. Are you there, Freddie? Okay, well, Freddie's not here. We have his presence with us. We can see his face, his photo, but I think he's restarting his browser. So, you guys, as you're here with me, so I do want to tell you guys about our Reddit set you. We are right now releasing 3 a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They range for about 10 to 18 minutes. And we find topics from Reddit that we had read about and we discuss them with each other. So the cool thing with these, though, is that when we read them to each other, it's the first time. So, like, I may have read mine, he may have read his, but we don't tell each other what we're going to be talking about. Oh, there he goes. Bye, Freddie. So it's kind of like the first time that he hears it coming from me, or the first time I hear it coming from him. So that, I think, is actually a pretty fun thing that we've been doing. And it's so weird because with me, like, I think we kind of bounce off of each other, and it's really weird not having him here and me having to fill all the space. And especially he had all the content for today's show. So I'm kind of just flying by the edge of my seat here. But let me see something real quick. I mean, if there, are people who are watching, you guys, you can definitely type into the comments right here. Or, like Freddie did that time that, I got pulled out. If you guys want to join, I can send you an invite code. You guys can feel free to come in and talk to me. Talk to me. Come on, Freddie. Come on, Freddie, come back. So if you did see earlier, Freddie and I were talking. This is my iced coffee. There's not much left. But I was super excited because I got these stainless steel straws. I got them on Groupon. They were super cheap. They're like $5 for like a 4 or 5 pack. And they came with a pipe cleaner, so it's easy to wash. But Freddie and I always talk about it, is why do you have to have a straw? But I always use a straw. It's just easier for me. And especially with ice, because it hits my lips, it hits my teeth, and I just don't like it. So with this straw, it's super cool, and I really like it. Though I did hear a story about this lady who was walking around drinking with her straw, and she fell and it impaled her, and it actually went through her into her brain, and it killed her. Hey, look at who's back.
Oh, hold on, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? I was expecting him to have also done an outfit change. Thought he was going to come back in with a different shirt on. Hello.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, thank goodness.
Yes.
I was running out of stuff to talk about. I was kind of sweating a little bit.
Well, you didn't want to just do the Fernando show?
I invited people in, but nobody came in.
Well, they're shy.
Hey,
but I'm surprised I haven't seen anything. I was looking for it because you know me, I like to blame the aliens for everything. So I was looking for alien because remember I told you I was like, when we I think that was our very first show, was it?
Yes, the aliens
was.
were the aliens that were the coronavirus?
That the aliens were supposed to come in April. Yeah, I said the aliens were probably the coronavirus.
Yeah, and then I remember we were debating about the bacteria, and I remember Mason was on our show that day that we were talking about it too. Yeah, that was our first show.
Oh yeah, and she was we gotta invite her back. When she was saying sorry, I can't repeat some of the crazy things she said, but I wanted to read you this one that was making me laugh earlier too. Was Bill Gates is now the leading target for coronavirus falsehoods. Oh, so that's what they're calling them now. Instead of conspiracy theories, they're calling them falsehoods, because that's what they said. Even in the article I sent you, they didn't say conspiracy theories. They were saying falsehoods and misrepresentations. They're really getting creative. Instead of saying like liar or conspiracy theories, now they're using falsehoods.
Right. Well, conspiracy theory defined is a belief that someone covert but influential Wait, let me reread that. Okay.
Illuminati
is
what
some
you're trying
covert
to say.
but influential organization is responsible for a circumstance or event. So
when this first happened, someone sent me an article about a Bill Gates speech where he's talking about how there was going to be a global pandemic and that they needed to prepare, and something about testing viruses in Africa. And then the people are just because part of the conspiracy theory was that they were going to test the vaccines in Africa to sterilize the people there. So that was part of the reason why they didn't want the viruses. And then there was the two French doctors who were like literally said, well, we tested vaccines on prostitutes, and I don't know if you saw this in the US, but it was because it was in French. But they were saying that they were going to test the virus on prostitutes in Africa, like they did for the vaccine, I should say, like they did for other vaccines and things going on there. And then it was an outcry because people were like, that's so racist. And they were, they were like, oh, it was taken out of context, but they never really like apologized. But I just read that again yesterday. And so now they're like, how could Bill Gates, save us from a virus when he couldn't even save Windows from a virus?
Oh my gosh. I did see something like that. It said creates, what was it? It was like creates virus for computer, creates antivirus, profit, and then it said repeat for humans. But and I think it was like a picture of Bill Gates like holding something, and they had just like photoshopped it. But so
Oh,
like as we were talking about, that the whole thing about his speech and whatnot, I just looked up
uh-huh.
like, past pandemics and stuff. So I mean like the Black Death, third cholera pandemic, flu pandemic, sixth cholera pandemic, the flu pandemic, the Asian flu pandemic, HIV pandemic. What about COVID-19 novel? Oh, okay, sorry. But I mean, so if he's even saying that, oh, watch out, there's going to be another pandemic. I mean, history shows that there clearly is. There's been plenty. So I mean, maybe in his speech he's just saying, you guys watch out. We got to be careful because there's going to be another one. So I don't think it's fair
Well,
to say that he created it or he's the reason for it.
well, there was literally a SARS conspiracy. Like you can go on Wikipedia, the SARS conspiracy theory, and so they basically we're blaming it on the Russians. Um, I mean, but it's interesting that every time we have a big thing, that there is someone who's always like, there's always a reason. You know, I don't know how. I wonder who the person. I wonder if they could ever, because like with Twitters, you can trace it back to the first person to tweet this out, like things like that,
Yeah.
like someone who starts a hashtag. Like, I wonder if anyone's ever tried to find the first person who spread this.
Oh, you're breaking out again.
Can you hear me now?
No. So you wonder if anyone's ever tried to find the first what?
The first person who spread the idea that it was 5G.
Oh, there's probably a lot of stuff on there. Probably would be very difficult. Hey, I have a good idea.
But
Why
there's
don't I task you with that for today?
with what?
Finding out who posted the first article.
I probably can find it, but it's going to take me some time.
No, but I mean, I'm sure that it probably just wasn't one person. I'm sure how many people are in the world? How many people probably thought the same thing, So it's hard to say like, oh,
have you rewatched Contagion yet?
no.
What? Why not?
What? Because we don't want to watch like these outbreak movies. Like there was some of them, I think Contagion, Outbreak, and then there was like one or two other ones that were like featured. I don't know if they're on Netflix or if it was like an Amazon. But I was like, oh, maybe we should watch these, and then we decided against it.
Well, if you watch Contagion, it's literally the same thing that's happening right now. But that was a more realistic movie, which is actually good. Instead of like what was the one, Outbreak, where the person is coughing in the movie theater and all the germs are coming out of the person's mouth and just floating around and then going to into other people's lungs and things like this. But when you watch Contagion, it's kind of interesting when he's like, what was the drug that he said in that movie? I think it was like Proseca? No. It started with a P. Jude Law's like the journalist in it, and he's like what did they call it? Falsehoods. He's spreading falsehoods about drug can really work and cure people, and he ends up making like millions of dollars from it, and then they ended up like arresting him and everything at the end of the pandemic. But it was like, when you watch that movie, it's kind of ironic, like how the same like progression, except that the only thing is there was no like mass looting, at least here there wasn't. I don't know if there was anywhere else.
In the movie there were? I haven't. How
like,
old is that movie?
Oh, I want to say it's like 11 years old. Maybe
Yeah,
even longer than that, maybe 12.
Hey, but speaking of movies, do you know what I am watching right now? It's a show.
What are you watching?
True Blood.
Barely watching True Blood now?
Yeah. I'm on season 3, halfway through.
You are always late.
I know. But it's actually really good. I like it a lot. So
did you not realize it was like a #1 show for a while?
No, I mean, I know. And I had watched like the first 2 seasons years and years and years ago, like when it was new. I'm not going to say when it was like just coming out, but I mean, it was still fairly new. And I think it just stopped. And I think it's because I didn't have HBO and I got tired of paying for it, I think. But so I got through like the first 2 seasons. So what, a week and a half ago, started it from the beginning. And I'm glad I did because I kind of had forgot a lot of the stuff that happened. And I was watching it again. I'm like, oh, I kind of remember that, but I don't remember this. And I didn't get bored at all rewatching stuff. So I think there's 6 or 7 seasons there. So I'm going to finish that and then I'm going to watch after that.
What are you gonna wait? Did you finish your other Reese Witherspoon shows that you were watching?
Yeah. Well, so there are Little Fires Everywhere, and that one, I think I have one episode that I have to watch still, and then there is going to be a finale. So I want both of them, like, because I don't want to have to wait. I hate watching something and then having to wait a week to watch the episode. So I kind of wait a few weeks and let them build up. That's what I did with Grey's Anatomy, and then I can just like binge it. So I'm gonna finish Little Fires Everywhere. I think I'm gonna have 2 episodes. Actually, this weekend I should be able to do it. There should be 2 episodes, and then Big Little Lies. Finish that one. That one was actually really good, but I was kind of sad that it ended. I'm like, oh, okay, we got our own interpretation. I'm gonna figure out how it ends. But
wait, are you on season 1 or 2
of
Big Little Lies?
Oh no, finished it.
Oh, but they're doing a 3rd season.
No, are they?
I thought that's what I read.
Oh, did you? Because if they do, I would definitely watch it. I didn't hear about that.
Hold on, let's check.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Season 3 releasing?
Yeah, on its way.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, what do you...
I didn't know they were going to do another season. I thought that it ended.
Well, of course, why would they do that? That it didn't end on a. No, there was no closure in that last episode.
There wasn't closure, but I thought that it was.
I need closure. I'm happy they expanded Zoe Kravitz's role in season 2 because she was so amazing in season 1.
Hang on a second. We're gonna get a caller real quick. Can you hear that?
Oh, are we gonna do the Fernando and Freddy show?
Hey, guess what?
What?
So Freddie and I, we were discussing some shows, and we are talking about Big Little Lies. Did you that they're coming out with season 3?
Are you sure?
Yeah, and right now we just looked it up and confirmed it. It's in the works. They have the script ready.
Fancy.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye.
Can you welcome this person to the Fernando and Freddy show? I love how you just took a call in air. You never even identified us as being on the air. And then, you just, the person didn't know. They were just like, okay, bye. That's it. Like, cool. What kind of... First of all, who is that person? That person didn't even like, well, you don't have to say who the person was, but still, like, the person didn't even go like, they were just like, hey, how's it going? Nice to hear from you. Just like, oh, cool. Okay, bye. Is that just like the quarantine, like, the quarantine fade? Like, just, I love how you can't speak. Like, you're struggling to, like, hold it in. Let it go. Just laugh. Look how red you're turning. And how come we're always like in opposite colors? Like, it's never planned.
I'm matching your shirt now, though.
No, but I'm saying like our shirts. We're always in. Oh, I guess you must really like blue, and I must really like red.
Or we just have a limited wardrobe right now.
Oh yeah, we can't go shopping right now. I was thinking that too, because when they're worrying about the economies coming up, and I was like, why are they so worried? Who wants to stay home after having to stay home for 2 months? People want to go outside and spin. They want to go on vacation. They want to go and do things.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, I don't know if people do. I think a lot of people are kind of afraid still to go do things and to go out and.
No. You know how people are still going outside now and meeting with their friends?
Yeah, but I think like once everything opens up, people are gonna be afraid like to go to like to restaurants and stuff. I think that there's gonna be a lot of unknown and
I-
uncertainty, and I think that a lot of stuff is still going to be really slow because before the lockdowns happened, like, we had gone out to dinner and had gone out. It was about a week before I got sick,
with
and
coronavirus.
yeah, with the coronavirus, but it was dead. The restaurants were super, super empty. Just like no one was out, and they were like, "Thank you guys so much for coming in tonight." And like the manager came over to us and was like, "Oh, can I do anything for you guys?" Like,
Yes,
and
comp this meal.
but I just felt like it was like really good customer service, and they were just trying to, pass on how thankful they were that we were coming out and they had told us that, they had to send 3 servers home because they were and I think it was a Friday night too. They were just way less busy than they expected. And
But it's one of those
yeah,
things like
so
I can't wait to go out to restaurants again. I mean, this is the sad thing is if people do end up staying home, all these great places are going to close. I mean, imagine all the options
right.
are going to be limited. All those people are going
But
to be without
Freddie,
job. What?
what I think a lot of people, like, everyone is thinking it, but probably people just aren't necessarily saying it. Like, once we all get the go ahead, all right, let's go back out, people are gonna start getting infected. Like, there's gonna be a lot more people
Yeah.
getting sick and stuff. And the whole thing, they know that, but the whole thing is they just
Yeah.
wanted to not overwhelm the healthcare system. So they didn't want everyone to still be out. And then instead of there being 100 people at the hospital, there's 500 people in the hospital. So
Yeah, that's literally what one of my friends told me who works in the medical field. He said basically they're going to, because people are going to start getting depressed and that's going to cause other problems. So he said that they're just going to, once they have enough equipment and staff and everything to deal with the problem, is that they're just going to open the countries up worldwide again and they'll do it there. Because, I mean, if you're going to catch it and die, there's not much they can do to prevent that. I mean, if you're going to die and you're going to die, like,
yeah, but they have to come up with like a vaccine. But I was reading too that's going to be way longer. People are expecting it by the end of the year, and I was reading other things that said it might even be longer than a year. But let me continue what I was saying. I mean, once we open everything back up and people start going out, like, once people start getting sick and the numbers start rising, there's going to be panic. People aren't going to want to go out to dinner. Like, once the country opens back up, once restaurants open back up, bars open up, and everyone starts going out, well, people are going to start getting it, and then there's going to be just freakouts, and people are going to say, "Oh, I'm going to need to stay in," or "Oh, I'm going to self quarantine," or "Oh, I'm going to do this," or "Oh, I'm only going to go to work and home." I think that right now we have this big idea that we all want to go out and we all want to go, to a restaurant again and this and that. I mean, I definitely miss going to a restaurant. I mean, I miss sitting down and getting nice food delivered to my table. And I mean, we've just been cooking at home or doing fast food, except this weekend I have $15 Uber Eats credits. We're going to have it delivered. But
are you scared about possibly recatching the virus though?
Because yes and no.
I read that article of the South Korean woman who was negative, then tested positive like 2 weeks after that. She caught it again, and then she passed away. So
so there was a lot of different stuff on it. So one, the first studies that were done in China, they had come to the conclusion that the people who had tested positive a second time was that they had a false positive the first time. So they had tested positive for coronavirus. Maybe they had a cough. Maybe they had some sort of symptoms that were consistent with coronavirus. So they thought maybe they had it. So they got tested for it. They tested positive, but it was a false positive. So they really weren't. They were still negative. So then all this time after they recovered, they're like, "Oh, I already had it. I'm not going to get it again." And they get it for reals the next time. That was what the research or their studies or whatnot had said on that. But I mean, just because you've already got it doesn't necessarily mean that you are exempt from getting it again. So yeah, there is a little bit of fear that, hey, what if I do catch it again? Or what if I catch a mutated version of the virus, or what if it just is a lot stronger the next time and the antibodies that I actually have aren't able to, I guess, beat it,
yeah.
So,
It's
I mean,
kind of,
I am
yeah.
taking precautions and I am having to worry a little bit, but I'm not overwhelmed or so like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get it. I can't do this or I can't do that. Like, I'm just a lot more relaxed about it, but I still have it in my head and I'm still kind of worried a little bit about it.
Yeah. I was just thinking about this, like all this worry, and then after we're gonna all just be out in the streets, like either you catch it, you don't catch it, either you make it, you don't. I mean, it's that
You make it or
whole.
you don't.
Well, I mean, I know the likelihood of you dying is really low, but still, I mean, you still have that worry in the back of your head, like what if,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and then
But it
when
does make you
everybody,
appreciate like your free time more. Like I feel like after this, everyone's gonna really like value, because remember I used to tell you before, the hardest thing in life is to do nothing, and like, now like all these people are now experiencing that. Like I when I wasn't working, it's literally the hardest thing into life is to like people. It's a luxury, but at the same time, it's really hard to sit at home and do nothing day in and day out. I mean, you really have to like occupy yourself with something, or you go crazy.
yeah. But it was actually really weird. Like when I was home for those 3 weeks, like some of the days would just fly by. I'm like, how is it already 7 o'clock? But I think
Yeah,
too, 'cause you and I would do, a lot of filming and, we discussed a lot of our content, we would do our editing and the different things that we were doing. And I think some of that was very time consuming. So I do kind of
yeah,
contribute or attribute like a lot of my time to, our things, which actually was really nice because it took up a lot of time and it kept me occupied. And I think like if we hadn't have, relaunched and put up our show during this time, like I probably would have gone crazy and I don't know what what I would have done.
well, this has been fun creating this empire with you. I can't believe how
Yeah,
much we've got right now.
right?
I mean, I can't wait for people to buy all of our merch and we don't have it.
Uh-huh.
So you can, I can't wait for the day when you do get your little animal and you can become one of those influencers who's like, my animal is in the hospital, and you've already got like millions of views and tens of thousands of followers, maybe even 100,000 followers, and then you're asking people to send you money. Cash
One
app on the
dollar.
screen, like. No, but these people really do. I watch all these Instagrammers like who have like really strong followings, like asking people to help them because the bills are so expensive, and I'm just thinking to myself like, but there's such a weird world to live in to ask someone to pay your bills. Like I can see, it is an animal, it is like a family member or something you love, but I couldn't imagine. I would be, maybe that's again like, in our other video of taking the $200. I'm too prideful. Like I can't. I feel like I couldn't.
Yeah.
The only thing I let people buy me is food. Beyond that, I don't want it.
Your food.
But yeah, but you know what I mean? Like invite me to dinner. Like that's fine. But like don't try to buy me with gifts and stuff like that. No.
Um, I saw this meme and it actually reminded me of my cousin. And I know I'd sent it to her a long time ago. Maybe it wasn't a meme. Maybe it was just like typing on a screen or something.
Hold
But
on. Was it $200? Is $200?
no, it said,
Oh no, sorry, $20 is that's what you said last week. $20 is $20.
it was like something like, instead of a drink, will you buy me mozzarella sticks?
Oh,
Or something, or what did it say? Yes, you can buy me a drink, but can you get mozzarella sticks instead, or something like that? I gotta
but
look
that's
for
real
it.
love. That's real love. Like
No,
you
like
know,
if some random dude walks up to you like in a bar, and he's like, "Hey, like, let me buy you a drink," and it's like, "Sure, you can buy me a drink, but actually, can you get me mozzarella sticks instead?"
I just loaded baked potato skins with extra cheese and bacon. But I, I mean, what if you don't drink? I mean, if anyone wants to buy me
Shirley
a
Temple,
drink,
please.
oh, I guess you could. But I would be scared. Like I would be scared to take a drink from someone. Like if a stranger wanted to offer me a drink, I'm probably not going to take it because I'm just scared of like, what does this mean? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to traffic me, or you know? But if you want to buy me something to eat, I mean, you've just stolen my heart.
But then you just like then you're gonna have to go eat with them, and it's like instead of just
Yes,
like
I
you
can
can suck
eat.
down a drink. What?
Well, I can have. I would already have a drink if that's the situation. I already would have my own drink. So
Yeah, we'll
I would
finish
hold
that
my
drink.
drink. I would have to talk to this person because this person might be weird, or they might be trying to drug me, or we don't know. Like I would have to, that's my conspiracy theory. I don't trust anyone like in a bar setting or like that, or a party. Like, first of all, anyone who's coming up to talk to me has already got to be crazy.
Freddie, listen to this. So was in Las Vegas at a pool party with a couple of friends, and let me just tell you, these drinks are expensive. Like we had these like they were big cups. I mean, it was a lot of alcohol in them, but they were like $50, and they were like the plastic ones that had a lid
50
and a
bucks?
flexi straw.
Wait,
It was
wait.
like $55.
For one drink, $55.
But I mean, it had a lot of alcohol inside of it. I mean, I'm gonna
But
say
was
it
this
probably
like
had at least like 5 shots or something. So I mean,
but
it
was this
was.
like? Sorry, I keep cutting you off. Is this like a fancy place, or is this like a normal Vegas place?
It's like a normal like Vegas hotel pool party, like a big party. But even Freddie, like Vegas drinks are expensive in general. Like even like at the clubs, like they're like the
But
same
no, they used to
price.
be.
They're
I don't
free
remember
if you're
them being expensive. I
gambling.
remember. Yeah. Oh,
Like if
that's
you're
why. Because
in the
I'm like,
casino and you're gambling, like you're gonna get like free
yeah,
drinks anyways. But if you're not
yeah.
gambling, if you're
I've
just
never
going
had
up
to
to a
pay.
bar and ordering a drink, then you got to pay for your drinks.
Oh, who goes to nightclubs in Vegas? Do you go to nightclubs in Vegas?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you just did. I've never done that. I've only when I'm gambling, because it's such a. I mean, it's the only place you can gamble. I mean, that's like the thing you do in Vegas. Like, I love gambling. Not in a
Well, you got to
bad
do
way.
other
I know.
stuff when you're there
Sounds like
too.
I'm a.
But listen, let me finish the story. So the drinks are like 50, $55 each, right? We're at the pool, and I'm there with a bunch of friends, and three of these girls that I'm with start talking to this guy, and he has his friends with him, and he tells one of my friends, he's like, "Let me buy you a drink," and so he buys her a drink, and he was like talking to her or whatever, and somehow or another it came up, well, you have to buy my friend a drink too, to one of the other girls. I don't know if these guys knew how much these drinks were or whatever, but ends up buying two like $50-something drinks for like the girls, and I'm like, all right, well,
Okay,
have
hold
fun.
on. Are these drinks like how big are these drinks? Are these like enough for like two drinks, or they're like just alcohol for one drink?
No,
Or
you know
three?
what? Like this one drink, like is enough to like for a whole day. Like that's probably enough alcohol, like that a normal person needs, like to be good the entire day.
Oh, okay, that's not so bad then.
Yeah, but I mean,
I mean,
like
there was
the
a
average
passion
person
fruit
going.
margarita I ordered in San Tropez, and I mean, it was like a I think it was 2 liters, a 2-liter passion fruit margarita that was just freaking amazing. Was like, wow.
2 liters.
Yeah, 2 liters, and it was
Oh my
really
gosh.
good. And I was smart because I said I'm gonna be cheap because I knew it was already gonna be expensive, and I was like, this has to really last me. So I gave the bartender 10 euros, and I said, this is your tip, because I already know no one's giving him 10 euros beforehand. So I said, this is your tip, and I just want one drink. So that drink was so good. I think we ended up splitting it between 5 of us, and
Oh
we
my
were
gosh.
still good. So because I was like, because remember I told you when they tip in France, a lot of times they're like €1. So when I gave him the 10, he was like,
free tipping.
no, but I learned that from one of my old teachers. He always says, if you really want good service, doesn't matter before you order, just give. He said you can go $10. And that usually will work. $10, give that to the waiter, then order your meal. Watch how great your service is. They're just because they don't have to work
service. Yeah,
that's
that's true.
Awkward service. They
But
don't
then
have to
it's
work
like,
for it. They're not worried. They're like, okay, I've got money. You know, he gave it to me before. I mean, they don't worry because a lot of times people do worry. Are you going to tip or are you not going to tip? So
yeah, that's true. But so why were we talking about those drinks?
because they were $50 in the Vegas. So the guy orders the girl and her friend a drink.
So girls go hang out with the guys, whatever. And then I ended up going back to our hotel, and then I just needed to relax. And so I left some other friends there. The girls went off with those guys. And then I get a call from one of my friends. She was like, oh my gosh, she was so drunk. And she's like, we're coming back to the hotel. And so they were leaving. She had her drink still. She only had drinking a little bit of it. They're running to the elevator because I guess they'd gone up to their room, whatever. She falls.
She falls. I knew she would fall.
Falls. Drink flies out. I guess she lost her entire drink and scraped both of her knees up. She got like major rug burn when she had fallen and lost her drink. So it was like probably like $48 like went down the drain.
I'm surprised those guys paid it. Were the guys with
I
them?
know.
Or no?
Well, they ended up going back with the guys, but
okay. Well, I mean, but can you imagine this guy was like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, and she was just like, thanks.
right? Imagine. But could you imagine, like, you're going to buy somebody a drink? Like, if I was going to buy somebody, I don't know, I guess maybe, like, if you frequent Vegas, you know, like, Vegas prices. But, like, could you imagine just, like, being here, like, in LA, you know, you imagine you're going to spend maybe 10, 15 bucks on a drink. And you're like, oh, let me get you a drink. And then it's like, all right, $55, please. What?
Well, it depends if you're trying to impress those people. I mean, you should never do something you can't afford.
Yeah. But at the same time, how do you know how much it is? Like because they have different sizes too. I mean, you didn't have to get that big old cup, but could you imagine though, just like expecting like
actually,
to,
it just reminds me of something. When I was in Venice last summer, it was the first time I saw other Americans, like in like lots of Americans, and I was listening to that plaza they have there, like the, you know, where they have the music and all the bars around. And some lady is like speaking to me from New York. And then she's like, can I buy you a drink? And I was like, are you sure? Because I did want one of those spritz. Is that what they do? I think it's a spritz. Yeah, the spritz that they make. And I was like, but they were like $30 or 30 euros. And when I told her, I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, because we were talking and whatever. And it was like a grandma when I say this. It wasn't like some lady like, young man, you know. But I mean, it was hot. There's people everywhere, and it was just like, you know, because she said something, and I just overheard her, and I replied, and it was like, oh, you're American, you know. And then you're instant friends, you bond, and so so yes. But then when I told her, I was like, are you sure? I'm like, it's 30, you know. I think it was like the conversion was like $35 or something. I was like, but it's $35 a drink. She was like, oh, she's like, maybe not. Maybe we could have a bottle of water. I was like, even that's still expensive. The bottle of water is like 20.
Oh my gosh.
Like something insane. Yeah, it was the place where all the tourists go. So one of those tourist traps but they did have beautiful live music though. They had really, really good music. And like the people were like standing around, like maybe 50, you know, people standing around like watching the musicians play at this restaurant. But they have like little orchestras like at each restaurant or cafe, and then they play music and you can have drinks, and it's so hot and it just feels so good to have such a cold drink. Like, you know, I can't wait to go back to that life again. I can't wait to go outside and have like, you know, a bottle of wine or two.
A bottle of wine. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, give me that rosé.
That rosé.
Yeah, a good clear rosé, not that yucky red stuff you buy outside of France. I want
Pink?
the real good. No, like it has to be like a clear tinted rosé, like nothing that's like really deep colored, because they usually
Really
end up being
deep colored.
Yeah, because when they're usually or deep bodied, when they're really like colorful, they're usually really sweet, and that's usually that's not a rosé for me. That's like gross. I don't like sweet wines. I want a dry wine.
Dry wine.
Yeah, I was thinking
All
we
right,
should have done
well,
this like today. I was thinking we should have done this like a bar,
a bar.
a
Oh, we have
virtual
to
bar.
do that. We have to do that.
Yeah.
We can
Virtual
each
bar
we were
together.
talking about that. So next time we'll open up a bottle of wine each, or maybe we'll get each of. I don't know. Do they have boxes of wine in France?
They do, but it's hard to find.
Well, maybe we'll each get
Wine
a
here
bottle of
is-
wine, and we'll
You'd
see
be
who gets
amazed. You
drunk
can get some
first.
really cheap wine for not really good wine for really cheap is what I want to say in France.
No. All right, you guys. Well, make sure, don't forget to like our videos. You can leave some comments if you want to subscribe. You can actually hit the little bell. It'll notify you whenever we post anything new. Like I said, we
Or
are
hit the
trying
dislike.
to. Or if you don't like it, dislike it. I mean, that's fine. Let us know. You leave us a comment. Tell us what you like or what you don't like.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you guys with our Reddit's on Reddit, we are posting them, trying to do 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, check back in. But thanks so much for watching, you guys. This has been another episode of the Fernando and
Fernando and
Freddie
Freddy.
show. Have a good night, you guys.